Happy lunchtime, everybody. Happy Wednesday, everybody. It's that time again. It's that time again. It's the Wednesday edition of the Kansas City T-Bone Steakhouse. Hello, everybody. You know the drill. You hearing me? Thumbs up. You're seeing me? Thumbs up. Sit back, relax. We got a loaded show. I mean, this thing is loaded. I really feel like I need perhaps a milk mustache today. We're very milk intensive. Also, talk a little mud, drive-ins, and American Association Baseball. The Steakhouse is open right here. Sit back, relax. Here we go. Let's roll the open. This thing is loaded. I really feel like I need perhaps a... Well, at least we're consistent. At least we're consistent, right? If you guys follow this show, you know that this is probably the most consistent thing we do. The open freezes, and I have no idea why on your screen as I'm looking at it, it's frozen. And today, I actually followed the proper protocols and plugged us in the Ethernet. Still, but let's do always do. Let's pull it down. Let's try to. I guarantee you, this happens every week. I just know I'm going to play it again. It's going to be fine, right? Don't we all know that? Don't we always know that that's what? So let's try it again. Let's just see what happens. There we go. It's like clockwork. I mean, it's. I'm beginning to think that it's a bit that somewhere, somebody, there's some kind of social media gremlin, live media gremlin that's doing this as a joke on me, figuring that let's see how many weeks in a row we can continue to make this guy stumble. But it's coming a bit, and I'm actually having fun with it. Hey, you know what? In the words of the great Jimmy Buffett, if we couldn't laugh, we'd all go insane, right? Happy Wednesday. Happy Baseball Wednesday. Happy whatever you're doing Wednesday. If you're joining this for the first time, my name's Dan Vaughan. I'm the voice of the Kansas City T-Bones Baseball Club in the American Association. We're not playing baseball. That's right. Usually we'd be coming your way right now with a cup of sizzle. We'd be opening up a daytime cup of cafe, a little coffee and latte in the middle of the day and talking T-Bones and whoever. Something I've tried to avoid looking to see who we might be playing. I've made myself not look at the original 2020 schedule because I'd be really pulling my hair out. But we'd be normally doing that, but the T-Bones are not playing. 6 teams in the American Association are. 6 teams aren't because of the pandemic we're in, the global situation, whatever you want to chalk it up to, virus, no virus, whatever you want to say. It's the crazy times we live in, but life goes on, and we try to fight through it. By the way, I dropped my script here, so you guys bear with me. Not really what you're supposed to do, but in my studio here, we're the light guy, the sound guy, the video guy, the teleprompter guy, which I don't even have a teleprompter. We are the producer. We do it all. It's a one-man band. So glad you guys are along. Just a lot today, a lot to dive into. Coming up on the show today, here shortly and around the corner, Tom Wynn is the voice of the Milwaukee Milkmen. I mentioned I needed some kind of a milk mustache because that would kind of make sense today because he is joining us, a team that's red hot, a team that is sitting now in the driver's seat in the American Association of the 6 teams playing. I feel like a genius when it comes to production today because it was one of those deals where my original theme was the Milkmen are in the thick of things. I didn't realize that we go on the air today, the Milkmen would actually be right where they needed to be. They would be right there in the driver's seat, and courtesy of some things that happened last night. Winnipeg dropping a tough ball game, although a triple play. We'll talk about that later. Winnipeg dropping a close one there against Fargo. There at Fargo. Of course, Winnipeg playing all those games on the road. And then the Milkmen playing a stretch where they have a chance to probably provide a knockout punch, perhaps, to the Chicago Dogs. And, last night, this is what happened. Former T-Bone Christian Correa jumps in, and let's just play it for you and let you guys hear, courtesy of the American Association TV. Let's hear the call last night from our guest who'll be joining us as well shortly from the American Association of Milwaukee Milkmen. Let's hear last night's call with Christian Correa in the extra innings.
Bill, and it's time to play the Cambria Crazy Cowbell Shuffle now.
Base as pitched it, driving Correa to left, but it is going to be over the left fielder's head, up against the wall, and Walker's going to score, and Milwaukee wins it 4-3 in 10 innings. Christian Correa with another walk-off hit for Milwaukee, his second this year. And the Milkmen and their fans celebrates a 4-3 walk-off 10-inning victory over the Chicago Dogs tonight here at Franklin Field. As you see Aaron Hill trying to chase Correa down with the Gatorade bat there.
Yeah, I got that Gatorade bat to Christian last night. Big win for those Milkmen last night, and Correa with the big RBI, the big delivery in the 10th inning, 3-2. That win right there, catapulting Milwaukee into the first place spot, and we will be talking with that gentleman right there. Tom Wynn will be joining us here on the show momentarily once we get past Wednesday's Wisdom, which we always like to start the show with. Of course, right there, that is courtesy of the American Association. Do I have on Wednesdays? I do have on Wednesday's Wisdom. Wednesday's Wisdom. It's a time of the show. It probably should be toward the end of the show, but because of during the pandemic, especially when we were waiting out as fans, what we were going to do, what was going to happen with baseball and the American Association, we tried to provide some insight. There's some historical insight, something to bring us up, maybe a story of the pandemic in 1918, maybe a good poetry, a good saying, whatever, but that's kind of what this is dived into. And we've been talking about the history of the baseball, and I've been using my props, and I'm going to use a couple more here. And I actually pulled out some newer props today, and you should be able to see these. I'll be able to put these here. I guess I'll have to kind of juggle them for a moment. Wednesday's Wisdom today is the history of the baseball. Now, 2 weeks ago, we talked about, we walked you through the last 3 weeks, almost the last month of August. We walked through the initial way a baseball was started. We talked about the pitchers used to make their own baseballs back in the day. That was the original way baseballs were made. There wasn't really a standard gauge for baseballs until really the turn of the last century. And then there was a sort of a pseudo standard, but it was still kind of loosely based. Then the 1910 World Series came along. They did some more adjusting then. Offense went up for a couple of years. Then we went to the dead ball era when they wrapped the baseball a little differently. Then we came to the modern era where they actually have, I'm going to say modern era, post-Depression era, where they actually wound the baseballs differently. And it's been pretty standard, although depending on who you talk to, and really who you, it really depends on who you talk to, who you subscribe to, if the ball's loaded, if it's not loaded, if the balls are juiced. That's all been something we've talked about over the course of the last, forever years. But it's what's unique about the baseball now. This is the part that I want to bring you guys is the mud. And I talked about this a little bit last week. Now I'm going to show you guys. This is what the closest thing really. This is not an official. This is a Hall of Fame ball, but it's not an official game ball. This is a Hall of Fame ball, but this is basically the closest you will see And maybe there's one more that's a little closer. Yeah, this is pretty much it. This is what you will see coming out of the box. It's a pearl, right? Very white, very shiny. Put the light, I mean the light a little better. Put the light over just a little bit more. That might give you a little bit more bright here. I'm going to kind of pull this around. Not so much. Trying to give you guys a little better. Oh, sorry about that. But anyway, you see there the lighting. It's got a sheen to it. The light actually kind of reflects off it. See that light reflecting off it? That's what the ball looks like out of a box. It's in the tissue paper. It's what it looks like. But they usually rub them down. Now, oftentimes a BP ball, if you're a batting practice ball, will look something like this. You see here, it's got the green scuffs on it. This is an American Association ball, Miles Wolf, a few years ago. This is an old BP ball, designated so too. It's got the BP number on here. But you can see, if you could see this up close, it's got some scuff marks. There's a little, can you tell the green? There's some green right there on the top. Some green grass, what's been at the grade. This is a BP ball, but it's scuffed up. So it's hard to really differentiate it from a normal game ball, but you differentiate it because look at it. It's scuffed up, got baseball scuffs on it. This is a BP ball. Now you got your game ball. Now what they do, and I'm going to bring this up to you guys, this mud, it's the baseball rubbing mud. It's Lena Blackburn's baseball rubbing mud, original baseball rubbing mud. Now this is a tradition that dates back to the 1920s. This gentleman, Lena Blackburn, was a coach, a base coach, and was one of the umpires said, gosh, the balls are slick. And actually, one of the players, and I don't know the exact season, but I won't go into the whole details, but it's a family that started this back again in the 1920s. Let me pour my script here. The originates from New Jersey's Delaware River. The mud is cleaned and screened before sale, but the way the story goes, umpire and this coach were talking. The balls are slick. Guys could, here's the ball that's slick, the brand new ball. It has a real slickness to it. They would spit on it, rub tobacco on it, scuff it up. Rub it down, whatever they can do. Pitchers can do whatever they want to do. That's where the spitball comes from, that term, all that. But came up with this mud. It's this mud from the Delaware River. And it's kind of sort of a secretive spot of the Delaware River. But this Lena Blackburn's grandson, Jim Bitliff, is carried on the family tradition. They're the only company in the world that does this. As far as this mud, no one else goes out and does this mud. Now, I actually got a little video for you guys to show you guys a little of what goes in the process of this rubbing the baseball down. You guys will see this here. And you'll see what happens. And if you look now, there's a slight difference in the sheen of the two, right? Here's your new ball. Here's your ball. And they're both the same light. If you look, it's still pretty, it's still pretty bright. It's still pearl, but it looks more of a milky white, okay? And if you look at it up close, and if I can give you a little shot up close, you can really tell. It's kind of hard to focus there. What you see is this mud that's rubbed on all the baseballs. And it doesn't matter what clubhouse is. And this video here is from Philadelphia, but you've got the clubhouse manager there in Philadelphia rubbing the balls down right there. And see, there's the balls coming out of the box, putting those baseballs together, 24 in a box, I believe. And they go through cases and cases of these, and they rub these things down. About 240,000 baseballs per season will be rubbed down. Here's the mud. Here's Jim in the Delaware River. There he is in his Phillies kit right there. This is where he goes, and this is him doing his thing, digging the mud up. And you can see him, and I'm giving you a little bit bigger shot here. This is actually what the actual process is. There you go, putting the mud in the buckets. That's what this guy does. This is his bit. This is his thing. It's his business, a family business. This mud, and it's a special kind of mud, and that's what they do. And it's this baseball rubbing mud, which I just showed you guys a moment ago. There it is right there on the screen, baseball rubbing mud. They rub every baseball down, and if you ever catch a foul ball, you catch a BP ball, it's a little tougher to see in BP because those things get a lot of – but if you catch a ball at a game, you're going to see, including the American Association, all baseballs are rubbed down with some type of mud. The majority of the leagues, dang near all of them worldwide, use this baseball rubbing mud. It's a family business. It goes back more than half a century. Just a couple of notes here. that Blackburn died in 1968, and he left the company to his friend John Haas. And then Haas, who was around helping Blackburn do the whole mud business as well. They turned it into a business. Blackburn later left the company. Haas left the company to his son-in-law, which is Bitliff. Bitliff's not the grandson. He's the son-in-law of the gentleman Haas, who was partner of the original founder of the company, Blackburn, who's still Lena Blackburn's baseball rugby mud. So I don't know if you guys have seen that before, if you guys know that. Wednesday's Wisdom, but every baseball is a muddy story. Again, you've got this nice, beautiful pearl. You've got this that's been rubbed down. They rub it down with the baseball mud. And I don't think a lot of people know this, because you see pitchers rub the ball down. They're trying to, and the thing about it is, regardless of the mud, there's still things that could be detrimental to a ball. A pitcher grabs it. Maybe, for example, the seams don't feel right. They're not raised enough. Maybe they're too low. Maybe there's just a certain way it's a slick grip. Even with the mud on it, it's not a fail-safe way to say all balls are going to be used. But they'll throw one to the pitcher. He'll take it and look at it. He doesn't like it. He'll throw it away. And you see that happen quite a bit. The mud, though, does take the sheen off and does make it a little easier to handle, and it does take it out slick. And they had some situations back in the 1930s, 1920s where the balls were already lethal anyway, but it made it even harder to field, catch, pitch, whatever. And this mud that dates back to 1938. The story goes that Blackburn was a third base coach for the Athletics, of course, the future Kansas City Athletics, eventually the Oakland Athletics, and he was an umpire complaining about the method used to the baseballs to be rubbed down. So he actually happened to be stumbling across this mud there in Palmer, New Jersey, on the Delaware River, and he founded that company, and that's the way it went. The American League used the mud right away, and by the 1950s, every major league team was using it. The American League used it first, then Major League Baseball in the 50s, along with some minor and college teams, and now it's pretty much standard throughout baseball. So that's the story of baseball's rubbing mud. That's Wednesday's Wisdom, and that gets us started here on the show. Glad you're along. My name's Dan Vaughan. The show is the Steakhouse. That's right. We talk a little T-Bones baseball, American Association baseball, and we're going to jump right into the main crux of the show here. We've got a special guest that I'm really excited to have this gentleman on. One of the things I do miss about this season, and one of the big things, is we've not had a chance to go to Milwaukee yet. Remember last year, the Milwaukee Milkmen played in Kokomo. We went to Kokomo, played the Milkmen there. They returned home late in the season. They really have not had you got to feel for those folks. They haven't had a really full season in Franklin, Wisconsin. And apparently from all stories, everything I've heard, it's a great ballpark. It looks a lot like the ballpark in St. Paul. They're playing great baseball. Of course, former T-Bone Mason Davis, Christian Correa, both big parts of things, and Tom's going to touch on that, I'm sure. Of course, we've also got Dylan Tice there, Dylan Baker, a pair of Dylans there, also doing some fine things. So the T-Bones well represented there with those Milwaukee Milkmen, who find themselves now in first place. So let's welcome our special guest on the show here at the Steakhouse on a Wednesday. Glad you're along. Sit back, relax. There's Tom Wynn. A little earlier conversation, and Tom joining us on the Steakhouse here on a Wednesday. Well, the Steakhouse continues, and as we mentioned, our special guest today from those Milwaukee Milkmen, the voice of the Milkmen, Tom Wynn. And Tom, first off, nice to meet you. Quickly, for our T-Bone fans, a little background about you. And I know you have a soccer background, but you've also done some baseball. Tell our fans a little bit about you, maybe a little quick bio nugget of Tom Wynn.
Well, I started off, Dan, actually doing professional baseball was the first sport that, I broadcast professionally, and did that for a few years in the 80s, then started broadcasting for the Milwaukee Wave. Of course, rival with the Comets down there in the Kansas City area. Yep. And so I've been doing it for the Wave ever since. Well, 6 years ago, Rock Ventures, which is the group that owns the Milkmen, they acquired the team. And so they became familiar with me broadcasting for the Wave. And when they formed the Milkmen last year, they asked me if I'd ever done baseball before. Was I interested? And I said, yeah, sure. So that's kind of how I made the connection with Milkmen.
Well, great. We're great to have the league. We haven't really officially met in person, but it's kind of a weird year, as we all know. The 6 teams playing, 6 teams not. but a lot of our fans have been following you guys. And I want to first talk about the ball club in general because you guys are playing well, have been playing well. Made a great acquisition getting Jose Sermo about 10 days ago or so. What's been the key? You guys are right in the thick of things. You're half game back as we talk today. You're right there. Just had a big series win over Winnipeg. What's been the key to get this Milkmen club right in contention in this 6-team American Association?
I think our biggest strengths have been pitching and defense. Those are the two things that have really, fueled us this year. Hitting has been a little sporadic. We certainly have some guys who can make an impact offensively, but we've been kind of up and down a little bit as far as hitting goes. But the pitching and defense have been very solid, and certainly the guys that have come in from the T-Bones have been major factors for us. Dylan Tice at second base. Been outstanding, again, both ways, offensively and defensively. And then Christian Correa behind the plate has just been a tremendous addition as well. And there you can see, his benefit to the pitching staff. Christian not only being a pretty good hitter, but he's also an outstanding receiver, got a big time arm and, again, has worked really well with the pitching staff as well.
Yeah, I've watched quite a bit of the games and try to follow as much as I can for our show and just in general for our fans. I have a feeling, and granted, it's hard sometimes to watch this from a distance and get a real good grip, but there's an it factor about this ball club too. I feel an it factor. Maybe, Correa had the big home run a couple weeks ago. There's been some very big key clutch moments as a team. This team seems to have a real something about it. It's going to, you mentioned the offense, 248 as a team, but you lead the league in pitching and in defense. But there's an it factor. Have you really been able to peg what that it factor is? There's something. They've got something there, those Milkmen.
Yeah, that's a good point, Dan. I guess it's kind of hard to put a finger on it exactly. I will say, and I'm sorry that I also didn't mention Mason Davis, former team who play shortstop, and Mason has just been phenomenal. Now I know he didn't play as much shortstop when he was with the T-Bones. Obviously, you guys had some pretty good shortstops there, but I'll tell you, he has just been phenomenal. I would rate him really as good of a defensive shortstop as you're going to find below the major league level at this point. So again, he's come up with some very timely offensive contributions as well. But yeah, I think I'd have to give credit to our manager, Anthony Barone. Anthony is his first year as a manager. He was with us as the third base coach last year. So obviously he was familiar with the organization and stuff. And, but now that he's been promoted to the manager, I think you have to give him and our other coaches, Hayden Carter, Matt Passarelli, for helping to mold the team. Again, it's been kind of an unusual season because everybody just kind of came in a few weeks before it began, and so obviously you had to kind of quickly mold the team and figure out who the leaders are, figure out who how you want to structure the lineup, how the rotation, everything like that. But good, excellent camaraderie on the team. It seems like So again, I'll give the team management a lot of credit. Our general manager, Dan Kinsey, also for assembling the team. Right. And, I guess Dan would be the one maybe to analyze the personalities a little bit more right before they come together. And obviously he's done a good job of assembling the team. But it's been a great group of guys. I'm sure the winning helps. We've had a decent season so far, and hopefully we can keep her going and possibly get in the playoffs. But, that certainly has been a key factor as well, I think, to help to kind of mold the chemistry of the team.
Glad you guys are along. My name's Dan Vaughan. Tom Wynn is with the Milwaukee Milkmen, the voice of the Milkmen. I'm Dan Vaughan, voice of the Kansas City T-Bones here at the Steakhouse. Glad you guys are along. Talking a little American Association baseball, and I'm amazed at what this league has been able to pull off this year. I mean, this has really been a lesson on how to do it right, how the little engine that could. I mean, you look at it on paper back in May and June, I'm thinking, boy, it's going to be tough, this little league to make it go. This league has passed with flying colors. You've been amongst the masses, home and away and all that. Are you as impressed as I am about just what a great job the American Association has done to pull off a league in this COVID era?
Yes, I have to agree with you 100% on that, Dan. A lot of credit again to the commissioner and the league office, the team owners who, agreed to try and stage the season, and again, also not just the ones who are participating, but obviously the ones who agreed to sit out this season and put their support behind this league as well. Obviously, the players and coaches, you have to give them the bulk of the credit. I mean, these guys, I think, have really gone beyond normal expectations to try to maintain a safe protocol to make sure that they are fulfilling their responsibility to try to stay safe off the field. We've had very few COVID cases, many fewer more than I guess I would have anticipated coming into the season. And so, no, I have to agree with you. I really am kind of amazed. We've made it 3/4 of the way through the season, so we're coming to the finish line here. It looks like we might make it.
Yeah, no doubt. And as my work with the Australian Baseball League, they're taking note. They're watching this closely because of the Winter League coming up. Finally, home Milwaukee. Last year so some of the fans of Milwaukee may not know this, but there's a little interesting history between the T-Bones and Milkmen that there was actually a game we had scheduled with them that was tornadoed out. We had a tornado come right over the ballpark last year early. We saw the Milkmen at home. Then we went to Kokomo. We've never actually been there. So a lot of the fans, the T-Bone fans, have only seen, me included, have only seen the Milkmen from that long, long view away. Watching what's going on, and especially watching on TV, social media engagement, all the great show they're putting on at the ballpark, it's got to be great to finally be home and get some momentum, because it looks like, despite the limited crowds because of social distancing, this thing's on the right track up there in Franklin.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Dan. It was kind of tough last year because the stadium opened late, and so it was kind of about mid-season by the time we moved in there. So it was sort of hard to build the momentum there, as well as the fans just becoming familiar with the other teams and players and everybody else in the American Association. The league really had not gotten a ton of exposure in the Milwaukee area prior to that. This year, of course, now that we had our feet wet from last year, I think we've built on the momentum. Again, it is too bad that we have the socially distanced capacity, but most of the time we're pretty close to what our socially distanced capacity would be, about 1,500 a game. And so, again, I think the fans have really responded. Picked up some new fans along the way. Obviously, they can't go to Miller Park to watch the Brewers, so I think that's probably helped us as well. The facility is very nice, and it's the middle of a big sports and entertainment complex that is still being developed in Franklin, Wisconsin, which would be probably about 15 miles maybe from downtown Milwaukee. And so the complex itself had been established a few years earlier, and then the stadium was built on one portion of the complex. We are also constructing a large indoor athletic facility that's going to be the largest privately owned athletic facility in the state, which will provide year-round baseball opportunities. And we've also got there's also a big apartment complex owned by Rock Ventures going up across the street as well. So we'll have our own built-in neighborhood right across the street from the ballpark as well.
little milkman land there is there in Franklin, just there in Milwaukee. Tom Wynn, the voice of the Milkmen, with us here on the Steakhouse, and Dan Vaughan here talking on a Wednesday. Jump back to the club here. I think this is a great acquisition for you guys. Jose Sermo. I knew Jose when he was with the Gary South Sherrill Cats. Huge thorn in the side for the T1s. Former MVP of the league. Is he the missing final piece of the puzzle?
Well, we're certainly hoping. He's had a bit of a slow start, and again, can't hold that against anybody for this season, because I think Jose, like similar to a lot of guys who have come in since the start of the season, really did not have, they weren't anywhere close to being 100%, probably either physically or mentally ready to play. Now, Jose is still in very good shape, so I'm not trying to say he was just laying around not doing anything. But you know how it is, Dan. If you're not fully on a program where you're geared up and scheduled to play, it's very difficult to maintain the intensity, I guess, maintain the edge that you really need to get in there. So he's had kind of a tough season as far as numbers. However, has had some big hits for us for sure. And you got to believe with his track record that he's still going to be a key factor for us coming down the stretch. So, you might be right. He could be the guy for us. We've probably, since the start of the season, he's probably been the only other non-pitcher that we brought in. Otherwise, it's been all the pitching staff that we've sort of enhanced a little bit here coming down the stretch. Henderson Alvarez, former MLB pitcher with Toronto, Miami. He's come in and given us a couple of good starts. We also picked up Drew Hutchinson, who used to be with Toronto primarily, and Drew has also started a few games for us. And then we picked up a real local favorite named Tim Dillard, who pitched for the Brewers for 4 years, 2008, 2011, and 12. But was in their organization his entire professional career for 17 years until last year when he played with the Rangers as a AAA affiliate in Nashville. So, and he's a big social media star, and a lot of people, still follow him, very familiar with him. So, and he's pitched twice for us, and he's just been outstanding. So that's been a great addition for us as well. Yeah,
it's been a great fall to get a guy like that has a local tie, social media as well. That's the way we live now. Of course, and you pair him with an ace like Holmberg. You guys, that pitching staff looks sharp. I tell you what impressed me in the league too, and you're chasing Winnipeg. But what they're doing, I mean, I would like to get your thoughts as a broadcaster. They're basically the only team. They're the road team always, and they're still somehow holding on. It's an amazing run what they're doing, not having a chance to play any home games.
Absolutely. For a team that really, knew right from the start, right, they weren't going to be able to play any games. Unlike St. Paul and Chicago, when the season initially started, I think both those teams were optimistic that they would be able to get back to their home fields. Now, obviously, the Dogs did the first week of the season, so really was no issue there as far as their home venue was concerned. However, St. Paul, it took them about a month before they could finally get back to CHS Field. But the Gold Eyes, I think, knew right from the start that there was no way they're going to be able to play in Shaw Park. So I have to give them a tremendous amount of credit, the players and the staff, for being able to persevere in these circumstances. And again, tremendously talented team. They appear to have maybe be a team on the mission, considering the fact that, they're sort of the road team of the league this year. And I totally agree. You got to give them all the credit in the world.
You and I as broadcasters, we see a lot of, home and away. We see what people do and what organizations do in the stands. And I'm just watching from a distance, but what this club, this franchise, this Milkman show, I call it, you've got a guy, Van, the milkman, him dressed as a milkman. You've got this great atmosphere. What really went into that? What can you tell our T-Bone fans who've watched some of these games and seen what these guys are doing in the stands? What's gone into that? How'd that evolve? Was there a story behind this whole Milkman synergy you guys have going on?
Well, as far as Van the Milkman McNeil, Van has been our longtime public address announcer for the Milwaukee Wave games. And obviously, he's got a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm. He's just a very talented guy. And I think that was probably the idea coming in that, Van, he's been quite an asset for us doing the Wave games. And so, how could we bring him in? We complimented him with our other MC, Fireman Jim Ranelli. Yep. And then also
they're a great duo. These guys are great, man.
Yeah, no, and again, those guys had worked off each other a little bit before coming into this, so you had some familiarity there. And then also our mascots, Vaughan, who we've had been blessed with a great guy to do the mascot, and I think that that's formed quite a great trio, I think, as far as entertaining the fans and stuff like that. And Dan, I mean, baseball is at times it can be kind of just kind of a long game, depending what's going on and stuff like that. And so got to have some outlet, I guess, to sort of entertain the fans and the mascot, the PA guy, the music guy, especially, right, are all important factors of it. And again, I think we've been blessed with very good people in those roles that has really helped to keep the entertainment going at the games.
Yeah, the mascot is a cousin of Sizzle, the T-Bone's mascot. They're like the same, they're both the cow family, So anyway, but I think it's great. I love what you guys are doing. I appreciate your time, Tom. I love what you guys are doing. I've watched quite a bit. Again, I try to follow as much as I can for our folks, and I think your show is phenomenal. What you guys do in the broadcast, what you guys do in the stand, I really enjoy it. Look forward to getting to Milwaukee in 21, and wish you the best rest of the way. And we'll see you in KC hopefully in 2021 as well, man.
Dan, I appreciate it, and certainly look forward to again the T-Bone's coming back. getting a chance to meet with you. And hopefully 2021 is going to be, just a great season for the American Association.
Cheers, mate. Yeah, cheers, mate, right there. Appreciate Tom Wynn. Thank you very much, Tom, for joining us. A great guy. Had a chance to take time out of a busy. These guys are busy. These games, and I know how this works. These games come at you, boom, 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 every day. You're playing, in this COVID environment. It's all squeezed into this stretch right now, and just taking the time out, I appreciate. A couple things. One more thing Tom told me that I did not get a chance to. We didn't talk about this on the air. He and I were talking off the air, and you may have seen this. And it's kind of fun. I'm going to play this because I'm going somewhere with this. Okay, so here is what it's kind of going on in Milwaukee to a degree. So you guys pay attention, you young whippersnappers. Here we go.
Show starts in 8 minutes. Yum, yum. It's time for a tasty and refreshing snack.
Now, how many of you guys remember that? Remember seeing those? Now, granted, I don't remember that. That'd have been before my time, but I do remember the drive-in theaters. I do remember going to the drive-in. I remember vividly as a young man going to the drive-in with my grandparents. My mom's hometown of Seminole, Texas. They had the drive-in that was very common throughout pretty much, you name it, the country. It's part of Americana at one time, right? It was part of what we had. And you see some of these old school drive-ins here. Well, the deal is, the reason I bring up the drive-in is because the folks in Milwaukee are doing just that. They're doing exactly as you're seeing here. They're throwing back the clock. They're what am I going to call it? They're actually doing a drive-in in their ballpark. It's not a totally foreign concept. As a matter of fact, the old Dallas Cowboys Stadium in Irving, the parking lot doubled as a drive-in movie theater. It was used during the off season and when the Cowboys weren't playing. There was, I believe there were 3 screens, maybe 2, on the east side of the old Cowboy Stadium. And now you see what you're seeing today is mostly these old screens are pretty much gone away. If you drive, I can tell you right now, you see things like that going to West Texas, driving to here in Lubbock or anywhere. Drive from here to drive from Kansas City to St. Louis in the back roads. You're going to see tons and tons of those old drive-in theaters that were once a big part of what we do. Well, they've gone away, but they're coming back, and the Milkmen have done that. They're bringing it back with a vengeance. There's a shot right there from them. There is their drive-in theater they've got set up in their parking lot. As a matter of fact, you can check out their Milky Way drive-in, and it's kind of a cool place. I'm going to give you guys a little shot of that as well, as I'm going to share that screen with you. But I think it's really cool to see this and to see what they're doing. But I'm going to put this up on the screen for you, bring this down and bring this up. But there is their website right there. And that's their website. That's their screen. And that is the Milky Way Drive-In. That's something I did at Ballpark Commons. I was not aware that, we didn't talk about this in the interview, but Tom was kind of to share that the MilkyWayDriveIn.com is the website, but it's part of the Milkmen operation, the Rock Ventures operation. They've got the drive-in set up there at the ballpark, and a cool place to go check out. So I invite you to go check it out. But it got me thinking that I don't know about you, but I used to love, and this is not really baseball related, but I used to love the drive-in. I've always often felt that perhaps I may have been born the wrong generation, but I loved the drive-in as a kid, going to see the drive-in with, I can mention, as my grandmother would take us, because we didn't have, we had one in Dallas. There was actually where I live now, there was one, just a big drive-in, but it was torn down in the 80s. I think the last year that they had pictures there were pictures. What am I, 90? You say, Sonny. I think in the late 80s, they tore that one down. There was a huge drive-in right off 75 that runs north and south through the city of Dallas. But it's been gone for 30 some odd years or more. I mean, they've got a Home Depot built there now. So you just don't see these drive-ins anymore. You don't see them anymore. And I think it's cool that they're doing that. I know the T-Bones have talked about doing movies at the ballpark. A lot of teams are doing movies at the ballpark, but there's something about the drive-in experience. The speaker now, now there's no speakers. You put the FM tuner and turn it up, but just the concessions taste better. Everything just tastes better, doesn't it? At a ballpark or at a drive-in. If you've been to a drive-in, you know what I'm talking about, right? So that's something cool that the Milkmen are doing. So good on them, and appreciate Tom for joining us here on the Steakhouse. Glad you guys are along. Yes, there was a drive-in in Garland. Yes, my mom mentioned that too. There were a lot of cities had them, but slowly that they started to shrink down. And now, I mean, it's very hard to find a place to drive it. I mean, it used to be what I thought was so cool with driving between here and Lubbock. From Dallas to Lubbock, it's about 6 hours. And you would drive through the different towns, and every town had a drive-in. That was part of the West thing. Drive through all towns in West Texas. And even the late 80s, early 90s, when I was doing high school football, high school basketball out in West Texas on a Friday night, you would still have the drive-in was part of the small town experience. The high school games on Friday night, and the drive-in was open on Saturdays, and it was a big part of what they did. It's just part of. It's gone away. It's kind of crazy, but yes, I'm going to see Miller Time out there, my friend. Ballpark looks great. Saw some more photos of that, and really looks good with those new green seats out there. Okay, American Association news. First off, I remind you guys, you're watching the Steakhouse. My name is Dan Vaughan, voice of the Kansas City T-Bones. Glad you're along on a Wednesday as we talk American Association baseball. I'm going to blow through the final. Keep dropping my script here. Both of the final items here, as we've talked. We've already talked drive-ins, we talked mud, and we talked milkmen. We've done all that so far today, and I've been a pretty good one. I mentioned last night. I mentioned earlier. You guys saw the highlight of Christian Correa, the walk-off double last night, and that would change the standings. They look like this now in the association. Sorry about that. There we go. That's what I want to do. See the standings of the association. Milwaukee with the win last night is 26-20, a half game leader. Winnipeg. Winnipeg's got 15 left. Milwaukee 14 left. It's either 14 or 15, but you're looking at the final. The league ends on the 10th of September, and you're looking at basically it ends in what is that? 2 weeks, 3 weeks from today. You're in your stretch run, but is that right? Am I correct on that? Am I looking at the wrong month? I'm sorry. Yeah, it ends. 2 weeks from today. My bad, not 3 weeks. 2 weeks from today. 2 weeks from tomorrow. Today's Wednesday, right? Yeah, it's Wednesday, Vaughan. 2 weeks from tomorrow is when the league ends, and there's your standings right now. It looks like it's do or die time for Fargo, 18-27. They've got a heavy dose of Winnipeg right now, although they beat Winnipeg last night, playing better, 6 of their last 10. Chicago right now, pretty big stretch for them too. This is kind of the elimination stretch right now. You got Milwaukee in with the win last night, Winnipeg the loss. That tightens things up. You've got, with the 15 games left, Milwaukee went 4-2 last week. That's pulled them within a half game of Winnipeg. They went 4-2 against Winnipeg in that 6-game stretch. St. Paul and Sioux Falls are playing right now on a 6 straight series, but they're 6 straight. Sioux Falls won last night, but that's still a game and a half. The deficit 3 back for St. Paul, are really 2.5 out of the playoffs. And it's really what it boils down to right now, guys, is you're looking at a situation where the standings-wise, basically Milwaukee and St. Paul and Sioux Falls are in a 6 straight elimination series. If Sioux Falls can win that series, let's say it goes 4-2, 5-1, whatever, they pretty much solidify at least a chance to play meaningful baseball the final week of the season. They'll be right to the hunt. Winnipeg, they do have 7 with Fargo, as I mentioned, coming up. They lost the one last night, so 6 more remaining, but they do have that benefit. Despite playing the road schedule, they do have that benefit. And then Sioux Falls doesn't play Milwaukee or Winnipeg the rest of the way, so Sioux Falls has got to just keep winning, baby. And as you see those standings, once again, the association with as we play here on this 26th of August. Can you believe it'll be September in about less than a week? But half game back is Winnipeg. Sioux Falls is a game and a half back, so they're actually a game off the playoff pace. And then St. Paul is 3 off the pace and 2.5 back. Chicago 5.5 back, but they pretty much are in the same boat as Fargo. They're do or die now. They've got to really, if they were to reel off 5 in a row, that probably gets you back at least within a puncher's chance to get to 500 and get you sorted, but you're running out of time. This is what happens. That hourglass is turning over. You've got 2 weeks left. A lot of things got to happen, and the mathematics don't look good for Fargo and for Chicago either. But should be a fun stretch. 4 teams really very much alive. And I guess the 5th team, you throw Chicago in the mix, still with a pulse right now. But you've got St. Paul, Sioux Falls, Winnipeg, and Milwaukee, the top 4 teams, separated by 3 games. And that's going to be a fun stretch drive going down. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the stretch drive in a moment, about how you can follow the stretch drive, because I want to get into a little tutorial for you guys before we close out today on how to follow things in the American Association for the 2nd consecutive week. Well, let's start things off with the player of the week. Let's go with the player of the week. And then we've also got a repeat about a guy in that's doing some pretty special things for St. Paul. But your player of the week this week in the association, a guy I don't know a lot about, Sam Dexter. Fargo Moorhead for this week was a point streak player of the week for the association. 6 games. He signed on August 19th, and this came out on Monday. So he's played in 8 games now. But this young man is doing some special things there with those Fargos, and a home run right there in Sioux Falls. 6 games, batting .435, home run in back-to-back days over the weekend. His first season with Fargo, 2-run shot in an 11-3 win on Saturday. Oakland, Maine native, played at University of Southern Maine, 23rd round pick in 16 by Chicago. The White Sox played 2 seasons there. Also played in 3 Rivers in the Can-Am League, and signed with the Milkmen. Signed with the Milkmen where he had 75 hits in 98 games. And then he went to play with the New York Boulders in the Frontier League in 2020. And then was acquired back by Fargo. Just recently was added to the roster in the course of the last mentioned on the 19th. So again, Sam Dexter is your player of the week. Your pitcher of the week, a guy that's done it before, Mike Devine. He is falling under a category of guys that, why is he not pitching in affiliated ball? Why is he not in a big league camp? Why? Let's see here. I'll get to that in just a moment. Mike Devine of the St. Paul Saints, pitcher of the week this week. He has done it again. This is, I guess, the 2nd time this year that he's been named pitcher of the week. On the 20th, he allowed just 4 base runners in his 8 innings of work for the St. Paul Saints. This guy's, again, solid. You look at this guy, what he's done for the St. Paul Saints, and you got to wonder why in the world is this guy
Saints
not,
have a good one on the mound to try to get a series win here tonight. Devine
between a walk.
Had a 7-inning performance with 10 strikeouts back in July.
And that's continued here tonight.
There's the slider, and he waves at it and misses, and down on strikes he goes. So he walks his first hitter in over 22 innings and comes right back with a strikeout. No runs, but left to the bottom of the first we go.
Career strikeout
Dogs nothing. The Saints coming up here tuned in to the American Association.
Saints. But
on Hope, who has struck out twice, you can make it 3 times. Mike Devine has tied a career high with 10 strikeouts. He has struck out at least 1 in every single inning.
Association last season, now having a heck of a time as a starter. 4-3 to 2.00 last year.
Gives up just 2 hits. He struck out a batter in every inning.
He's one of the top 10 pitchers in the American Association.
A single in the 4th
Mike
inning.
Devine,
and Edwin Arroyo's double in the 7th inning.
2-2 at 2.81 and 57 and 2/3 innings. And he is definitely a guy that I don't know. And again, I don't know why on earth this guy's not in. And Kevin, I see Kevin out there Why is this guy not in a Major League Baseball camp? I got no idea. But again, you see guys like that, and you got to think. And granted, he's 30; he's a little old, but I mean, hey, there was a Major League debut of a 30-year-old former speed skater by the Miami Marlins last week. So it's not like it's not been done before. Oops, sorry about that. Wrong one. Here we go. Kevin says, this week of the association, a good meet. A lot of the Cowboy had too. Reading someone's blog, he was comparing the American Association race to a horse race, and it is a horse race. It's going to be a good one. I mean, this is going to be, again, you've got 5 teams in the mix, 4 really that are right there, separated by 3 ball games, and that's going to be a lot of fun to watch coming on the stretch here in the American Association. So congratulations to Devine and to Mike Devine as the pitcher of the week, and also to Sam Dexter from Fargo on your pitchers and players of the week. Couple of things to pass along to you, stat-wise, just looking at some of the numbers here. Top 10 leaders in the league. Carl Prime, former Perth Heater, leads with the 351 average right now. It's the league leader. Home run-wise, Adam Brett Walker. Now, you saw Adam Brett Walker scoring in front of Christian Correa. Adam Brett Walker's benefiting, I think, from a couple things. A, the entire lineup card around him, and he's getting on base at an alarming rate and also driving in runs. This is a guy, you're seeing in Adam Brett Walker what a lot of Milkmen fans saw last year and what T-Bones fans were going to see 2 years ago until the Twins came a-calling and signed him from the T-Bones roster, but only saw him for one weekend. But you knew Joe Calf-Pietro was onto something, and what he's got going on right now, MVP-type numbers for Adam Brett Walker. Victor Roach has got 15 home runs as well. They're both tied in the league with home runs. Average-wise, Walker's average down the list a bit, but as far as guys like looking at MVP-type candidates, Roy Morales, 339, former T-Bone, is third in the association right now. L.A. Lago, 332, is fourth. Mikey Reynolds is sixth at 312, another former T-Bone right there. Okay, another list of other offensive numbers here. Adam Brett Walker leads the league with 38 driven in. He is on top. Stolen base-wise, Michael Krause of Chicago. Darnell Sweeney second with 11 for the current T-Bone. Mason Davis, as you heard Tom Wynn talk about. Mason Mayday, third in the league with 10 stolen bases. Dylan Tice is fourth with 9. There's a couple of T-Bones there. Let's see what else we got here offensively here, stat-wise, just kind of looking at some of the highlights quickly. Lay Lago is second in hits with 63, former T-Bone. Carl Prime leads the league with 66. Mikey Reynolds, third with 58 hits there in the pecking order. We can get pitching numbers for the association as well. Let's pull my stat bag up. Let's see here, quickly looking at pitching-wise for you. That David Holmberg of Milwaukee, he's their ace, 6-1, 2.56 and 59 2/3, 10 starts, and he is the league leader in ERA right now with the 6 wins, also tied for the league lead in wins, along with Tyler Herron of Sioux Falls. A couple of aces right there in Herron, and it'd be a great matchup, Herron and Holmberg, in postseason play should those two teams meet right now. One of those two teams has got a leg up right there. In the bullpen this year, Jamison McGraney, the St. Paul Saints, T-Bone signing in 2020 with 13 saves. He and Keaton Steele of Sioux Falls both tied in saves right there. Victor Capion with 11. He's in the third spot. Mitchell Osnowitz of Fargo Moorhead was released and let go by Fargo, but has 3, 4, 5. He's fifth in stolen base, saves rather, fifth right now. Right there. Strikeout-wise, David Holmberg, 62, leads the league. Let's checking the leader here. Let's see. Innings pitched, Matt Salter with 64 2/3 leads the league there, the St. Paul Saint. Also, offensively for the teams, Fargo leads the league at 286. They're also in the cellar. Milwaukee is fifth and leads the league at 250. Granted, that's a pretty 36 point stretch. Distance is a pretty good one right there to have first to fifth. But again, the timely defense, we're going to talk about that in a moment. But at least the number wise, home run wise, Chicago leads the league with home runs, 69. They're also sixth in the association at 246. Looking at pitching wise, Milkman 3.84. That earned run average is the best in the association. The only ERA as a team that is below 4 is the Milwaukee Milkmen's 3.84. They've pitched 403 and 2/3 innings. That's second in the association. Look at their strikeout numbers, 385. That puts them 3rd in the association right there. Their defense, though, Milwaukee, with the fewest errors, committed only 33 so far. Next closest team would be Chicago, making 39, along with Winnipeg. Winnipeg, obviously, right there in the second position right now. So there's your defense. And a pretty big drop down from there, from 33 errors by Milwaukee to the 4th spot of St. Paul, making 44. That's 11 error drop, and it drops down to 52 for Fargo, 50 for Sioux Falls. So pretty good drop off there. So there are your numbers right there around the American Association there here as we play with 15 or 14 games left, depending on what team you are here in the American Association. My name is Dan Vaughan. Glad you're along. The show is the Steakhouse. The tablecloths are all out. The menus are all out. The chalkboard is starting to be erased a little bit because we're getting this thing kind of close to being wrapped up here, as we've talked mud and drive-ins and milkmen as well. The closing thoughts, and I wanted to give you guys a chance for questions and comments as well, but I want to walk you guys through one more thing as well. But if you're missing this American Association baseball, what are you doing? I mean, what are you doing? Why aren't you watching the American Association TV site? And you should be. And you should go right here. There it is on the screen, American Association TV. I'm going to walk you guys through it as well. You let me do that with you. And we pull this up. Talk about yourselves. There we go. What you should be doing is going to the AA Baseball TV site. I'm going to pull the screen up and show you what you got, what's on there. And I want you guys to, because there's 15 games left, I think it'd be a great investment just going forward to what the league has done with this whole deal. And first off, I'm going to show you the main screen right here, as we can do that. And here's the main screen of the league website. Sorry about that. That's not what I want to do. I just did that to me. Sorry about this, guys. Sorry. Let's try it again. I don't know why it just shared the wrong screen. Let's try it again. I wanted to share not my Twitter screen, but I wanted to share the American Association screen here. Don't know why I did that. Okay, there we go. Here we go. Sorry about that, folks. Here is the American Association. This is what you go to, and you go to that American Association site. I encourage you guys to do this. Go to the American Association TV site right there. It's aabaseball.tv. And there's all kinds of stuff on there, but especially this playoff hunt, this horse race down the stretch. I encourage everybody to go check this out and follow the American Association Baseball. And I'm actually going to move to the next screen. I'm going to show you guys this as well. Some of the content you can get from the American Association. This is a great, pretty good example of what you're going to see. As you see right there, got highlights, upcoming games. You got some bonus content as well. I'll move this down a little bit. Here, for example, of course, the teams that aren't playing, but let's go down to here's Milwaukee, for example, and St. Paul. You've got them down there, and you've got their team content, highlight reels, previous broadcast, and all that. So that's all right there for you guys. So I encourage you to check it out. Go to American Association, aabaseball.tv, aabaseball.tv. Check that out, and definitely it's worth it. I'm telling you, it's a stretch drive. I encourage you guys to all subscribe. It's a great product. It's much improved, and you can see some of the fine work they're doing in Milwaukee and St. Paul and the Winnipeg Club and the Fargos and Chicago and Sioux Falls. Some very, very good work being done by not just the broadcast crew, but the production teams, some of the on-field stuff. It's just really entertaining. I encourage you guys to check it out. Again, the American Association site right there. Go check that out. And definitely, you don't want to miss the playoffs, do you? No, don't miss the playoffs. That's right. And we're only just a few weeks away. I'll give you guys a little short break here for questions and comments. So if you guys got them, please fire them away as we round this thing and head for home. Let's see here. We were watching since it started. Yeah, it's good stuff, isn't it, Don? It really is. I will admit it's hard for me because I miss it. And I told this to Tom off the air. I miss it so much. I mean, we only got 2 more weeks left, and I'd already be starting to miss the season. I'm an emotional guy anyway, as I think a lot of you folks know. And I got to tell you, it's a little hard for me to watch, not because it's hard to watch as a program. It's a great program, but it's just hard because I miss it. And like I said last week, the sooner we get to September 10th, the sooner we get to off season and start talking about the T-Bones in 2021. So but it's good stuff. I encourage you guys. Of course, the Greers who have hosted several players. You'll see Roy Morales with Sioux Falls. Of course, saw Christian Crayas as well as the walk-off win last night. Those are all things you would see by following the American Association site. So make sure you guys are doing that and catching Association baseball there as we roll right along. The show's the Steakhouse. Glad you're along. I'm kind of looking at a couple things here as well to point out to you guys. Tomorrow coming up, Thursday noontime. It's the return of the. It's only 3 more episodes of this too. We've only got 3 more of the T-Bones Greatest Hits. And you're probably going, what is that exactly? Well, we basically take the T-Bones, old T-Bones broadcast from the radio, and we pull it and pull back the curtain and give you guys a taste of what was like that night. We play the play the audio, and I break in and kind of give you guys some of a little insight into some of the great moments in T-Bones history and recent memory. And those are coming up. That's coming up tomorrow at noon. Again, the T-Bones Greatest Hits. Check it out from the vault on MixLR. It's right for you. And I'll give you that shot the screen there. There we go. From the vault on MixLR. That's right. Go to MixLR. I don't know why image keeps coming up, but there we go. MixLR is where we go to, and you can check that out tomorrow at noon Central Time, and we will be on the air rolling with the MixLR show tomorrow on network. So check that out. I'd love to have you guys along as we do a little extra T-Bones content tomorrow right there on the MixLR channel. Of course, the replay, also you can find that on SoundCloud in case you missed it. So we'd love to have you guys join us then as well. So that'll be tomorrow on the T-Bones Broadcast Network, our audio platform tomorrow. Also, other odds and ends coming up. We've got this show, of course, another handful of shows coming up. We only really got 3 more. I mean, this was one of the 3. We got really 2 more because we've got, we're going to, when the season ends, we're done. We go into off-season mode. But that being said, I want to encourage you guys to join us right here. Share this. Share the show. Share it. Let people know. Let your T-Bones faithful know where you saw it, that you saw it right here. Do definitely check it out. And we're very proud of the show. I'm very proud of what we're doing. We have kind of have some fun with it, but definitely share the show every Wednesday at noon right there. Glad to have you guys join us here on this Baseball Steakhouse. You saw today's special with Tom Wynn, voice those Milwaukee Milkmen, plus some wisdom of the history of mud. So we always give you something here, something good. We try to anyway. Also, I encourage you guys to follow me on my social channels as well. Of course, you've got Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. All those are up. Of course, the T-Bones as well in the channel pecking order. You can follow the T-Bones, all those channels. I encourage you to do that. Basically, let me pull the curtain back for you guys. Basically, Morgan and I are doing the Twitter for together, and if it's a pretty good chance if I tweet it, that the T-Bones will tweet it. Pretty good chance that happens, and we both are really good about keeping that. I can't say enough of what a great job Morgan's done to keep us all informed and keep that stuff coming for us right there. But you can follow me right there, and love to have you do that right there on my channels. Also, you want a little baseball from an Australian point of view? I know, people go, well, an Australian point of view, is that possible? Is that really something that goes on? Well, yes, it is something that goes on. It's I like the show. We got a big show, and this is really a big show for us on Talking Baseball Australia tomorrow night. It's in the States. It'll be tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central Time. Over in Australia, it'll come on at 8 a.m. in Western Australia, 10 a.m. in Victoria, in Sydney, and in Brisbane. But it's Baseball's Best Mate, Friday on Facebook Live in Australia, Thursday night in North America. It's a big show. The schedule comes out just a mere hours from now in Australia. and it'll be afternoon here, but it'll be a morning in Australia, and we're going to dissect the schedule, what we call in Australian the fixture. We call it the fixture. Standings are the ladder, and the fixture is the schedule. We're going to have Cam Vale, CEO of Baseball Australia and head of the Australian Baseball League, will join us once again, and we'll break down what's going to be a very interesting schedule for the Australian Baseball League. They're playing a bubble in New Zealand and a 4-team domestic competition in Australia. So you'll have 4 teams in a bubble in New Zealand all playing on one site, and then 4 teams playing domestically in Australia, and some more odds and ends. So I encourage you guys to join us and check that out on Talking Baseball Australia. Baseball's best mate. Love to have you guys. When baseball's best mate is really a close mate of those Kansas City T-Bones as well. A lot of thank yous today. First off, big thanks to Tom Wynn, the voice of the Milwaukee Milkmen. A great interview, great stuff, great guy. Looking forward to meeting him. You know, it's one of those things, we haven't been to Milwaukee. We've only seen him from the distance, and looking forward to getting there, seeing what they're doing, their show, and I've really enjoyed their broadcast, so really enjoyed that. Thank you guys for joining us, Donna and Miller Time and others, all you guys out there. I mean, we got a lot of, let's see, I haven't seen all these greetings. Let me check them here. Who did I miss? So Brooke Knight checked in earlier, former Heat manager. Where am I here? Let's, by the way, it's also, it's also National Dog Day. Did I even mention that? I don't think I did. It's something Morgan just put up a moment ago. I probably should put that up. What do you think? Should we put that up? National Dog Day? Let's just see here. I did not, and of course, we got a dog here at the house, and he is got his cut. But yeah, you guys need to definitely check out National Dog Day. And Morgan's got a really cool. I'm going to have to put this up. You guys have got to see this. I'm going to put this on the screen before we shut down. But National Dog Day at Morgan. Great job. But you got to see this. Let's do National Dog Day. There we go. National Dog Day. Look at that pup right there. National Dog Day. Happy National Dog Day, everybody. Just dogs. Lots of other T-Bones as well. You saw the highlights earlier in Milwaukee. They had a dog day. Have a couple dog days. I think they have one every week there in Milwaukee. But anyway, good to see that they're on the channel as well. But again, I was looking for the thank yous to pass along to you guys, and who else I missed along the way. Anyway, glad you guys were along. Thank you so much for joining us. Kevin as well. Don't forget to join Kevin and his partner in crime, Rob Paneer. Those two gentlemen on This Week, the American Association. I really appreciate what they do, covering the league and covering what the comings and goings of baseball in our league. Also, big thanks to the American Association TV site, all the teams as well as their highlights. A big thanks to, again, Tom Wynn, the Milwaukee Milkmen. And a big thanks to you. We love you guys. We would not, I say this, and I believe this, you are the best fans in baseball, the best fans in the American Association. I think the best fans in baseball are the American Association fans. And the best fans in the association are those Kansas City T-Bones fans. So I'm going to put my big mitts out, give you guys a big virtual hug. Lots of hugs, lots of love. Hey, let's keep being better. Let's show some love, some empathy. Let's be kinder to each other. Let's wear those masks. Let's keep going forward and living a better tomorrow. And let's all get ready for 2021 when the T-Bones return there in KCK. Well, the time of the week to close things down. Another show next week at this same time, same place, as we'll do this once again on Facebook Live and on YouTube Live. So again, bookmark that YouTube spot and come back and check this out as the T-Bones Steakhouse will close for this week, but back open again next Wednesday. Love you guys. See y'all next week in the Steakhouse. Good night, Sizzle.